Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how you should never start reaping before it's your season. You know what I mean? We got to continuously sow these seeds in, you know. And some of us, we get a little anxious, we get a little bit like excited when things are flowing, right? Just because you starting to see the oranges come to its shape, its form, you can kind of see it all coming to life. The apples the same well, doesn't mean that they're ready for you to reap yet. And the weather is changing, so that's what brings me to a lot of this reaping and sowing this season and making sure you're aware of what season you are in. I know the weather is beautiful outside, but you may still be in the middle of battles, wars, and you're still in your sowing season, not your reaping season yet. You know what I mean? And we all know what happens when you start pulling fruits and everything too early. You know, they don't really get all the nutrients that they're supposed to get within there. So this weather has been beautiful outside. We know that they put their little stuff in the air, you know, whatever you want to call it. I don't even really want to talk on it too much because they so sensitive with everything out here, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, hold on, let me fix it. That joint had to lean on. We kind of like on a hill, as you can see, so I just had to fix the stand a little bit. But when it comes to your reaping season, for us, you know, moving in a more righteous light and operating the way we do, our reaping seasons, when we have waited patiently and we put the work in to sow what we needed to sow for these next seasons, our reaping seasons is to infinity and beyond, you know. And a lot of us, to get to this space where we are in life now, we had to experience great reaping seasons, you know. So just never get it misconstrued because you see other beings are in their reaping season means that you are in your reaping season. You may get tempted. You may want to spend a little bit more money. You may want to go out and spend a little bit more time away from what you should be doing. But you gotta remember, like, if you want your next year to be better than this year, you have to keep your eyes and your spirit and your energy focused. You know what I'm saying? The Creator always let us know when it's time to reap. Just like the Creator lets you know when you're supposed to be sowing. You know what I'm saying? And this weather is beautiful right now. We just went through some crazy stuff. And usually when the weather starts shifting, more beings feel like it's their reaping season because the weather is nice outside. We are supposed to be in sync with the universe. So that means technically during this time of year, we should be reaping. But because of the way we live our lives in the Western world and we're on their weird calendars and time and all this thing, we don't follow the universe. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by that is, like, we should all understand that the sun is how we keep track of days. The moon is how we keep track of months. And the seasons is how we keep track of the year. When we go to the numerical clock, that is just humans being intelligent and using what we have to kind of be more accurate, you know. So I don't really like when people say like time is not real, and I used to be one of them beings when I didn't understand. I caught myself regurgitating information. Time is real and time is prevalent, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we see a lot of people have these time clocks. All of us, actually, I ain't even gonna say some people, we all do, you know what I mean? We got a limited time here in this realm, and we supposed to be taking care of business and living life and enjoying at the same time, which we all understand is hard when you're in the middle of this battlefield. But the reaping season, man, when I say I had a beautiful reaping season about right when the COVID happened, matter of fact, sorry I said that COVID, I said it again, YouTube, hey, I am not talking about it, all right? So whatever y'all do, just don't do what y'all been doing to me, just kind of let me rock, all right? Apologies. When that thing happened and they had all that stuff going around, right, and everybody was in a lot of fear, that whole year I traveled. That was one of my best fruitful years of my life. when I say that, it's almost like I'm traveling back in time to how perfect it was. While all the repro-mind baits and the zombie robots and the witchy motherfuckers was scared to move around because they got to listen to daddy, the ones of us who follow the creator was living our life. We knew that it was a really big spell being casted, and we didn't have to have any parts of it if we didn't want to, opposed from them surveillancing and locking everybody down, you know what I mean? But that reaping season lasted, not just because the vid lasted, you know, but that reaping season for me was for almost a full year, you know? But I also had been going through a lot of battles and obstacles and been grinding out previously for about 4 to 5 years consistently before I got a chance to experience that. Then I can also think back at times in my life where the weather was shifting, or I was around buddies of mine, and I kind of got myself out of my sowing mode and decided to start pulling some of my fruits earlier, and I had to pay for pulling my fruits early, you know? So when my sowing season came, I had to sow so much more than what I should have originally had to sow in. And then I also had to like grind through certain processes. Grinding through certain processes during your sowing season is like all your obstacles and trials that you're going through in the middle of, you know, waiting for your fruits to do what they do. So don't get lost in the sauce and the chaos, you know what I mean? We gotta remember what's at stake here, you know, and what's actually going on. We just know that the big cloud of smoke just came through, and what's crazy is they got a movie called like Fog or something, or something about the fog. But it was some weird movie on Netflix where the people literally locked themselves into a store because if they went to the fog, some kind of monster was eating them. It was killing them. So once they all kind of like was trying to figure out how to get out the store, they was like doing all kind of ropes and attaching into them to let people walk out there to see how far they can go before them. It was all kind of tactics and things. But a lot of these movies are symbolic for what's at hand and what's at stake. That fog wasn't that bad, you know, that they sent through. I know some people that, like I had a buddy of mine, his son had caught pink eye, and my mini ended up catching pink eye, and they are like 3-4 hours away from each other, but it happened around the same time that stuff was coming through, you know. And I'm no dummy. Canada has been there forever before I was born, and I have never smelt one fire come from Canada. I'm in Virginia, so I'm not, it's not easy to manipulate me. Like, I'm not saying you won't get no blows or no hits off on me, but it's not easy to manipulate me. And even with getting hits and blows, you have to like catch me extremely hard, because I can take a punch. That's one thing you learn about fighting these battles, is you learn how to take a punch physically and spiritually. You know what I mean? Everybody isn't gonna be perfect in their rounds, you know, but just understanding that you don't have to make it harder for yourself by trying to go out and start reaping, because it's reaping season with the universe. We are not in sync with the universe to be reaping around this time. Some people may be in their spiritual season or space where they are reaping right now, but when we're in sync with the universe, this would start to become our reaping season. You know what I mean? So all of this has to go with us getting back in sync with the universe, trusting the creator in the process. The thing with trusting the creator in the process, most people don't want to turn to the creator till they got no other options. That's weak as fuck to me. Like, I don't care how many options I got, I'm still turning to the creator. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, that was a lot of my strength and my backbone throughout my life and my experiences. So for me to make it seem like, oh, I only go to the creator when I got weird stuff going on. Nope. Even when I'm just vibing, I still go to the creator. I still make sure my connection and my vibe with the creator is like this. You know what I mean? So this is going to be a really tricky part of the year. And then we also have to be aware that the system has been waiting to do some of their reaping. You know what I'm saying? They've been sowing a lot of witchy stuff, and they waiting to reap their stuff. So that's why we have to be prepared. You have to be prepared at all times. You know what I mean? I done seen too many people crash out or just put themselves in bad spaces because they was trying to fit in with the Joneses or just reaping when it's not their reaping season. Just because you got a couple extra dollars don't mean that you should be reaping. You know what I'm saying? Just because you made a couple extra moves don't mean that it's your reaping season. Some things is just to keep you aligned with your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Little mini rewards and like achievements and accolades and, you know, creator like little pats on the back. Like, here you go. You know what I'm saying? Stay on purpose. Stay on track. You know what I mean? So this season, be mindful that if you are not in your reaping season, do not start reaping too early. Continue to sow. We have to get ourselves in sync with the universe. You know, we out of sync. Have to get in sync with the universe. You know what I'm saying? By any means. It's a lot of stuff going on that's kind of keeping us out of sync, but it's our job to make sure we're working and we're taking the steps that we're supposed to take to get us back in sync. You know what I mean? You feel a lot better once you in sync. Most women that's moving in their divine femme, they feel a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to worry about all those witchy thought processes to go through in the inside. You know, it's different in the inside. And I know that my divine masculine men are the same way when you in sync with the universe. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the same trials and obstacles as everyone else, but you still have them. You know what I mean? That's not to take away from them. But I ain't want to run it up too long. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful of the seasons that we are in. If you have not been operating with the universe, then don't take the weather and what's happening now as your season. Once you get in sync with the universe, then you can take that as your season. But right now, we're not in sync, and we got to do everything we can do to get back to where we're supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.